Good morning, all. Once again, this is Wild Weather here for liveweatherblogs.com. I'm going to start off with the currents. Must say that I'm going to step away from the models just for a moment because they're kind of depressing. Um, Even more depressing is the current temperature map this morning. And for December 29th, looking at a map like this is quite disheartening if you're a snow lover, except for people up here in extreme northern New England, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, or maybe International Falls in Minnesota, or up here near Bismarck in North Dakota. Everywhere else in the country at this hour, temperatures in the upper 30s and 40s and all the way up into Montana here, quite warm for this time of the year. The majority of the country is just overwhelmed with warm air. A little cold pocket here in the Four Corners, but that's been there for a while, and even that is starting to erode away with the cold air there. Take a look at this. This is all from hamweather.com. Here's your snowpack, folks, and yeah, from this time last year, this is quite a different sight. Really, no real snow cover to even speak of anywhere along the lower 48. I mean, we got it out here in the mountains in the west, but really, just a remarkable change from a year ago when, a lot of the country had snowpack at this point. A pretty good snowpack up here in eastern Canada. That's because the storm track's been coming up this way time and time again, and maybe that gives us some hope for troughs to develop down the east coast and the cold air comes rushing down. The flow coming in off the Pacific like this area is starved to snow. The upper Midwest is starved to snow, and I don't see this changing anytime soon. Um, just a disheartening sight again if you're a snow lover. Let's take a look at some of the teleconnectors now. The PNA ensemble forecast has even grown to the chagrin of snow lovers in the bad direction toward neutral and negative, meaning more onshore flow in the Pacific Northwest with very minimal ridges, and even if they do develop, they get whisked off to the east, which means no building of heights downstream in the east to cause any storms coming up the coast. Arctic oscillations, which was giving us some hope. Well, here's your dip here. This is in and around the time that cold blast comes down, but if you notice, the members, when they go and they don't stay negative for long, they start moving in towards the positive territory again. Again, not what you want to see if you're a snow lover. The NAO, now, the NAO is, yes, continuing to give us some hope that maybe it gets neutral and negative, and we'll just have to wait and see how that all transpires. Now we're going negative in mid-January here. So as you see, things are getting pushed back each time. So we say, what are we looking at today? Well, let's go to the satellite here. I always like to use a water vapor map, all of this from hamweather.com. And on the water vapor map this morning, even our subtropical jet, which I loved, is getting squashed to the south now. Which in the long run, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Storm here, getting ready to turn the corner. As you can see, though, the storm is way far south, and so far south that it should just be of no consequence whatsoever. The cold air is just come in here, and the trough is not going to allow the storm to turn up the coast. This is more of the septibus, like Rob says, and we'll just continue to follow the flow. Southeast ridge is squashed down, but sometimes it's not always a great thing, but we got our wish. The cold air is here, and it does appear, after a couple clippers come through, maybe the cold air has a little bit of staying power for a few days, but as you can see out here in the Pacific North, in the Pacific here, things should again turn southwesterly in time, and we could be looking at more warm air. This is as of December 29th. Our La Nina waters out in this area have warmed significantly, meaning that maybe La Nina is about to give up, although I'm still trying to figure out did it ever start. Much wetter than normal along the east coast, well below normal on the west coast down to north of LA, way above normal But the upper level lows here in the desert southwest, 209% of normal rainfall, total precipitation rather, in Tucson, Arizona, with temperatures below normal, almost 5 degrees. Not exactly what I would call La Nina like. Now remember, in the equatorial Pacific, it's summertime down here, so yes, it's typical that the waters do warm up. So, am I saying we're heading into an El Nino? No. We don't know that quite yet. The waters never really did cool down. I mean, maybe some idea this tongue of warm water is coming this way. So, like a bathtub, the water kind of sloshes back and forth in terms of your warmer and colder waters, but you can clearly see that this area is warming up significantly, and it is summer down there. So, um, we'll see where we go from here, folks. So right now, though, I don't see anything that's real exciting. Um, and the trough is going to come down and dig down this way. Only the problem is the cold air comes down. The storm develops too far offshore. The storm lifts out. As the storm lifts out, the jet stream will follow with it and will open a door for more warm air coming up. Now, I did some research, folks, and looked back at the winter of 1940-41. That was a year where we had snow in October, 2.1 inches on the, I believe it was the 19th and 20th that year. We went on to see 32 inches of snow that year, and one big storm did it. We had nearly 16 inches of snow in one big storm, but that wasn't until February and March. So we'll see what happens, folks. Wouldn't write winter off yet, but for the meantime, really no real big snow chances in sight. We will get a cold shot of air, but that cold shot of air unfortunately deflects the rich moisture from the subtropical jet out to sea. And any storm development will also be out to sea. As you can see, this storm up here is just not doing the blocking to allow a storm to come up the east coast. So we'll see what happens. Okay, well, stay warm today. It's much chillier than it's been yesterday. Last night I was getting gas. The wind was blowing through me. I'm just not used to this. It's been so warm this year so far. We're going to round out December here relatively normal with the cold air, and then warm up for New Year's and New Year's Day, and then we should chill down quite a bit next week. But it looks like it's going to be a cold, dry pattern. This is Wild Weather for LiveWeatherBlogs.com. Stay warm and toasty, and I'll talk to you soon.